Trust Indentures and breach of trust. Learning more about our constitutions and the potential legal ramification for public officers. A quick review. A trust is any arrangement where property is transferred with intention that it be administered by a trustee for another's benefit. The trustees have legal obligations to administer the duties conformable to the principles of justice and right. I've done a different video called Constitutions or Trust Agreements, and I encourage you to go look at that video to get more specific details. Who are the trustees? Trustees are our public officers, all officers of government. In the Georgia Constitution, Article 1, Section 2, Paragraph 1, it states, all government of right originates with the people, is founded upon their will only, and is instituted solely for the good of the whole. Public officers are the trustees and servants of the people and are at all times amenable to them. Amenable means subject to answer to law, accountable, liable to punishment. That's from Black's Law, 5th edition. And the Georgia Constitution, this is from their Bill of Rights, and this applies to all people in all states. What is an express trust? It is a trust created or declared in express terms and usually in writing, as distinguished from one inferred by the law from the conduct or dealings of the parties. The federal Constitution and each of the 50 state constitutions are expressed trust agreements, as they are documents with expressly written instructions directing government officials. Express means clear, definite, directly and distinctly stated, and that's from Black's Law, 5th edition. What is a trust indenture? Trust indenture means the document which contains the terms and conditions which govern the conduct of the trustee and the rights of the beneficiaries. The federal Constitution and each of the 50 state constitutions are trust indentures. As you look at a constitution, you will see that it contains a section referred to as the Bill of Rights or Declaration of Rights. These are the rights of the beneficiaries, us, we the people. The other portion of the Constitution is called the frame of government, which contains the written instructions which govern the trustees. The trust indentures contain certain things. It must be a written document. It has express terms. It will list the rights of the beneficiaries, which are called the Bill or Declaration of Rights. And it must contain terms which govern the role of the trustees. And that section is called the frame of government. So those 4 items are contained in our constitutions, which show they are trust indentures. The Bill of Rights apply to all Americans. The frame of government portion applies to a particular state within each of the state constitutions. Upon being elected, now you know that our constitutions are legal documents known as trust indentures. When someone is elected into office, they become a trustee bound by a trust indenture for their particular state and the United States. This position comes with legal duties and responsibilities that by law must be followed. A trustee's duty is to act in the best interest of the trust and its beneficiaries, we the people, not in the interest of the public servants or lobbyists. Their main objective is to protect the rights and property of we the people. What constitutes a breach of trust? Breach of trust means any act done by a trustee contrary to the terms of his trust or in excess of his authority and to the detriment of the trust. The wrongful omission by a trustee of any act required of him by the terms of the trust. The wrongful misappropriation by a trustee of any fund or property which had been lawfully committed to him in a fiduciary character. Every violation by a trustee of a duty which equity lays upon him, whether willful and fraudulent, or done through negligence, or arising through mere oversight and forgetfulness, is a breach of trust. Equity means the spirit and the habit of fairness, justness, and right dealing, and these definitions come from Black's Law, 4th edition. Here are the various categories and examples for each category. Any act contrary to terms of trust. violating instructions as written in the constitutions, violating rights of liberty, free speech, right to protect yourself with arms, omission of any act required of him, not performing duties according to the Constitution and statutes which bind government officials, such as election laws, following election form and written protocols for elections, in excess of authority, mandating vaccines, shutting down businesses, requiring masks, putting people in jail without due process of law, as in the January 6 prisoners, and this could also fall under the omission of any act required of him. Wrongful misappropriation of funds or property, using funds to get agencies to go against the rights of the people, leaving behind our expensive military equipment in a foreign country. Constitution and statutes. The Constitution has expressly written directives for public officials to follow by law. Each of the states and the United States are corporations by design. The statutes created by the legislatures are corporate bylaws which govern the internal operations of government. The trustees are required by law to follow these directives, such as election laws, rules, and codes on how government business should be conducted for the benefit and protection of the people. When the laws, rules, and codes are not upheld by trustees according to the letter of the law, a breach of trust occurs. Consequences for a breach of trust can include fines, removal from a trustee position, and jail time. Summation. Government officials are trustees bound by trust indentures known as constitutions. Trust indentures are legally binding, expressly written directives for the trustees, government officials, which also contains the expressed rights of the beneficiaries, we the people. Any act done contrary to the terms of the agreement or in excess of their granted authority, or any act required which was omitted, or any misappropriation of funds, is a breach of trust which can lead to fines, removal of position, and jail time depending on the circumstances. Alexander Hamilton stated, "If it be asked, what is the most sacred duty and the greatest source of our security in a republic, the answer would be an inviolable respect for the Constitution and laws." And inviolable means not to be profaned or treated with irreverence. That's from Noah Webster, 1828. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something new. Please share this with others.